What day is it? It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. It's also Macaron Therapy Thursday. And I used a green spatula today because green is a good color for today also. How are you? Are you guys loving April 20th? Is it nice out where you are? Thank you for joining me. Macaron Therapy is something I do almost every week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Every Thursday, where I show you the more satisfying parts of making macarons. So we start, I've already got 2 of the steps already done. I've got my meringue and I've got my paste ready to go. I'm gonna macaronage these 2 together, and then I'm gonna pipe them. And when we're done piping, they're gonna bake. All during this process, I'm gonna have a little chat with you and just hopefully you can have something soothing to think about and listen to while I'm showing you the really soothing parts of making macarons. Today is a special day because it is the day that I want to share about my healing journey. And the reason why I incorporated that today and with macarons is because a lot of my healing in my life has come through the process of making macarons. And April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and each year in the month of April, I like to raise awareness for a special cause, an organization that I have found a lot of healing from my sexual abuse that happened to me when I was younger. So a little bit of that is what we're going to share about. I will say that they are sensitive topics, but I'm also pretty sensitive towards the topic, and so I choose to stay away from details. I don't like to get specific on things that have happened because I think that especially when it comes to sexual abuse, it's a very huge range of things that can result in very similar feelings to the survivor. So I don't like to go into specifics and details, just share a few things that why I'm able to be who I am and what I do today and how I got there. So I hope you can enjoy this process. Please let me know how the weather is today. Are you guys able to enjoy the sunshine? It's coming in here. Well, it was beaming in the other day, but I see we have some friends here live. Thank you for joining. If you're here, say hi. I love when you watch live. I also love when you watch on the replay, and either way, I'd like to hear about it. Every week I go into this session of therapy thinking of who's going to be here, what do they want me to talk about, and where should my message be guided and directed. So just the fact that I know that you're here makes me feel like I'm talking to somebody. So let me know you're here. I'm going to get started with this process of making macarons, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to be honest, everything seems really bigger today, a lot bigger. All right, let's see where a good camera angle is today. It just depends on the day, really. Can you guys hear me? Is anybody listening? Hopefully, nobody has said they can't hear me. I think you can hear because you were on the... Okay, there we go. I got it. I'm fine. No need to worry about me. How's that? Yes. My healing journey, that's what I get to talk about while I make macarons. We can hear. Everything sounds good. Shauna. Hi, Shauna. Oh, Joel's here too. Hi, Joel. Shauna and Joel. All right, guys. I am going to give you my... overall, in a package, my healing journey story. And the good thing about this on YouTube here is this video stays around for a really long time. And this is something that if you might know someone who might need some of this stuff, then you can share this video and you can pass it along. We'll have all kinds of links and helpful things in the description. So Macarons for me started 7 years ago when my daughter Nora, she was 8 years old, and she wanted to learn to bake macarons, and so I just let her. But also in my world, I was at a point in my life, and my daughter was at a point in my life where I was starting to relate to her as a child in a way that was dragging up a lot of things from my childhood. And kind of watered down version, but I was sexually abused by my stepfather for my entire childhood. And there's lots of details and things that go into it. But like I said, I don't like to share the details. It's just what it is, but that's not the important part of the story. My mom had some things to say. This came out when I was 12-ish years old, and there was going to be a trial to determine, this was a crime and we were going to take care of this, but the trial and his conviction was based on my testimony, and I had to give details and descriptions of things that had happened, which was really hard and uncomfortable for me. And I know that there are people that are trying to change those laws, because it's really hard to, as a victim of something like that, it's hard to do that. So for me at 13 years old, I was not able to do that. And so he was let go, and my family stayed together, and we just kind of moved on with life, and that was just one of the things that we dealt with. So that went on for a long time, and I got married. I married a great guy who I knew at the time that I had to let him know that I had some of this happen, but like I said, I wasn't something that was super crucial or important to go into. So I did let him know before we got married, which I'm so glad that I did, because it was challenging. There were challenges in our marriage. There are challenges in our marriage because of that. And I was able to be upfront and honest with him ahead of time so that when those challenges come up, it wasn't a shocker to the system. However, when you have your own kid, it's when things started to get really hard for me, and I couldn't just stop thinking about some of the things that I would never want for my child to go through, that I had to go through as a kid. And it was triggering, and it got me really thinking about all of my life choices, to be honest, everything. So, how's this looking? Is this relaxing? Is this stressful? Let's get some good whoops in there. Woo! Hey guys, thanks for joining. So I went into this macaron business with my daughter in the hopes of having something special with her that I was never able to create with my own mom. And that's kind of how Nora's Macarons, in a nutshell. Now, before I go too far, let's check this out. Woo! This is going to be so cute. I love this color. Not to go off subject, but it's getting hot in here.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is a sensitive topic.
It's amazing.
Here we go. Oh, we're going to move you guys. Can I have you change the oh, we'll go a couple. When you get there. I gotta move the overhead. Wait, we're gonna go this way so it doesn't focus on my arm. Remember? Okay. Is that good? Oh, there we go. All right, so very beginning of the macaron business, very early days. I found a therapist. I found a therapist through recommendations from friends. That's where I feel like you can find the best recommendation. Well, therapists. Therapists, it's hard to find one just like Google searching it. Like, it's really nice to know someone who knows someone. So that's how I found someone. That's how I found one that I felt was successful. I did therapy. At the beginning of my therapy, I also found a organization. We're going to talk about it. It's called Sapria. And Sapria is an organization that provides healing tools for adults who were sexually abused as children. So their website has all kinds of healing tools, different areas around the world. They have support groups. They have all kinds of things. In Utah and in Atlanta, Georgia, they have a healing retreat. And the healing retreat is for women who were sexually abused as children. And it is a place, it's like, I think it's 4 days. I should know specifically what it is, but it's 4 days where the women can come and take classes and have like workshops, training, things like that to help them cope with life. It's free to attend. The whole thing is provided by donations, but they don't charge the survivors. They require that they get themselves there. They have to pay for that. And then once you're there, they have this beautiful, beautiful property that you stay at. They provide all your meals. They give you everything. Look at how pretty these are. I had no idea. So when I found that, the healing retreat, I attended it in Utah, and I attended that in October of 2000. Oh, help me out. 2016? 2016? Maybe Joel knows. 2016 or 2017. And it was amazing. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't make it more. Like, I came out of there, I went into it not knowing what to expect and not having any expectations. I guess I could share. I was in a very sad place, and the things that, like, I mean, I had friendships, I had, you know, it wasn't like I was like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I felt like I was good, right? I was normal, is that what you said?
Quote unquote normal.
I was normal. I was functioning in life like I think anybody would have expected. And that is really, 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 really well. There's not a lot of people who have gone through some of the things that I've gone through and who have been able to have manageable relationships, let alone really great ones like I have. So I'm very, very, very grateful for it. But I knew that there was more. I knew that there was more. I was short-fused with my kids and my husband, and there was communication issues, and I felt really judgmental and critical of people when I didn't need to be. And it was just, I could be a better person. A better version of me was what I was actually going after. And so when I came out of the Haven retreat, I just went for this. I was like, whew. When I came out of the retreat, I felt like good. I felt healed. I felt like amazing. I shared my story publicly. I went on social media and I shared it, and that was really hard to do. And that was really hard for a lot of people to hear and see and learn about. And it caused some problems in the family, obviously, that it should, right? Anytime there's sexual abuse in the family and the family's not talking about it, that's the problem, okay? So it was, it was a difficult few years. What happened though when I started sharing my story, and when I say my story, again, it's like I went through a lot and I want to do better and I know better and I want to share that with others because the statistics are really sad and I know what it feels like to be able to not have hope and peace, and I don't want that for people. So I wanted to share my story so that I could help get that message out there. Yeah. So a couple years ago, 2 years ago actually, during the middle of our pandemic, really, I had an amazing community on Instagram that was showing up just as friends. We were all kind of going through the same thing in life, building our businesses during a pandemic. And I had built relationships with so many of them, and how do you kind of say, like, this is what happened to me, and, I'm trying to raise money. Anyway, so I shared my story with my friends, and they came out and decided to help raise money for this organization. Me to help you? What do I need to do?
Nothing.
And so just on Instagram as a little fundraiser, we were able to raise over $15,000, which is enough to send 4 women to the healing retreat. And that was amazing. It was incredible. It was such a really life-changing experience for me, because as I share my story, and even before I went through healing and I would talk about pieces of me, I would have people tell me, like, wow, like, I would have never known this about you. You're so amazing. And when I did start talking about it, people would say, wow, I always thought you were great, but knowing this about you, like, wow, I didn't know these things about you. So healing, sharing my story of healing is so that I can help others feel that peace is possible, that it's out there, it's available. I had some really sad relationships before this. I held on and clung to a fantasy of having a relationship with a mom that was never going to be what I wanted it to be, but that fantasy of it sure felt good until it didn't. And I couldn't imagine having that same relationship with my daughter. Not saying that that's perfect right now either, but I feel like as a parent, I have more control over the parent-child relationship than the child does. So if I want a relationship with my child, I need to learn how to communicate with my child. And that will help us have a better relationship. Yeah. I feel like I am missing anything. I mean, I just kind of watered it down. Did I water it down too much, Bren?
You want to talk about that you don't have a relationship with family?
I don't.
Is someone treated?
Yeah, so one of the really most saddest things. Okay, let me talk about the sad things and the glad things, right? I don't want to be a downer on all of this. Shockingly, to most people's surprise when I tell them this, like I don't have a relationship with my parents. It's been 6 years since I've had a relationship with them, and then I have one brother, and he's married with kids, and his kids were actually what inspired me to rip off the Band-Aid and get this family different. I feel like I had a responsibility to protect kids. Knowing what I knew and having gone through what I had gone through, I felt like it was my responsibility. And yeah, some people weren't ready for that, and it caused some, it definitely caused some damaged relationships in our family. That's not easy. And like I said, it's probably one of the most difficult things. But what it's forced me to do, I guess, or opened my eyes to, I can make my family who I want to be in my family. Like, because we share DNA and genealogy, I don't think that means that we're going to love each other and ride off to the sunset in a great relationship. I think you can do that with people that you don't share DNA with. And I don't know. I have done that. I love that part of it. Timelines aren't my thing. What's that mean? Timelines.
What?
Timelines aren't my thing. Joel asked. Oh.
Oh, it was when 2017 or 16. Or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
It's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember exactly what year that was.
Oof. So April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I'm going to leave in the description box the organization of Sapria. How I really feel about this, and I'll just close it up with my final thoughts here, guys. And it's in regards to child sexual abuse. 1 in 4 women before the age of 18 are sexually abused. And the sadness of that, the things that come along with that, I have been able to experience. And as a child, no child should ever experience the feeling of neglect, abandonment, guilt, shame. Those are things that all come from this horrible thing. Hard work, going through the hard work to really think about and process your emotions through those things was one of the best things I've done in my life, for my life. And I understand myself more. I have more compassion for others. I feel more for people. All of that was completely worth it. So this might be maybe not for you, but maybe for someone that you know. If you think about the number 1 in 4, like think about the women in your family, or think about the women in your class, or the girls you go to school with or church with. Like, That's pretty big. So they're not alone. There are tools that can help them in whatever areas of their life they're holding ransom for healing to happen. It's possible. I've gone through it. It's hard. It's really hard. And I have to remind myself that every day is a new day. I get to write what happens. Like, there's nobody telling me what I have to do each day. It's my decision. And every day, probably forever. This isn't something you cure from and then move on. It's something for me. Like I said, I've been healing for 6 years, and it'll be the most random times that I'll get a message from someone just out of the blue that says, oh, I found your YouTube video, and wow, I didn't know about this, and I'm so sorry. And it's a very nice message. It's very lovely, but every time I get one of those messages, it kind of brings me to how far I've come, which is a very great, amazing feeling. But it's not something I just capture up and then let it go and move on my way. No, it's something I feel for a while. And, that's something forever will be. When I did my fundraiser in April 2 years ago, it took me a really long time to come out of that because I had spent so much time talking to others about their stories, sharing different things that, they were asking about. So it's an emotional journey. It's worth it. My relationship with my friends, with my husband, with my kids, with strangers on the street, any relationship I ever had before has been made better by me searching for joy and healing in my life. And I think everyone deserves that. Do we have macarons?
In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes we have macarons. We'll chat for 2 more minutes. We need to spray some of these. I feel like it's a really good day for some gold. You guys want to ask questions? I know it's not like a real, I'm the type that I talk about it and I feel it so much that I don't know how much is too much to share. There's no overshare thing in my feature, so I'll let you guys guide it if you have any questions. Shauna, I love you. Thanks for always being so positive and supportive. Shauna, Sunshine Baking Princess in Orlando, Florida. That's where you get all the Disney treats from, guys. I need a drink. Shauna, you want to see these? Joel said Brenda has been an amazing help and friend for you. Yeah, a little fun fact about Brenda. Brenda and I have been friends since I was this big, and when I went through all of this with my family, and Brenda was the best friend that I had the whole time. Not just like a best friend that when you're 10 years old you guys hang out, like one that I have today that I can be like, oh, okay, this friend of mine has been just like a treasure the whole time. She's not gone anywhere. She's a good one. Very, very, very lucky. I may not have a good mom, but I have a good friend. And that makes up for a lot. But there was something else I was going to say. What was I going to say? About Shauna. Brenda, fun fact, yeah. Anyways, 13 seconds. All right, we'll see what we got. They're going to be too hot to flick. Oh. And we are keeping Macaron therapy short now because I guess I'm just old and I can't stand that long. That's what it is. Shauna, can you give me a subject for my next Macaron therapy? Since you're here and you're commenting, I will do whatever you tell me to talk about. Because I don't know what to talk about next week. Or the first person to put it in the comments. How about that? First person to put in the comments what my subject for next week's Macaron therapy.
Leads into Mother's Day. Mother's Day's hard.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is definitely a hard time of year for me. I am a mother, and so I am fully into celebrating me. Like, really? That sounds bad, doesn't it?
That's what all mothers should do.
That's what all mothers should do, right? I'm just not able to celebrate my mother on Mother's Day. And it used to be really hard, and it's still hard. I think it will always be hard, but it's less hard as time has gone on. And as my kids have done a really good job at loving me, I also don't want to be the mom that's like, oh my gosh, our mom on Mother's Day is always so stressful. You know, we got to make sure we take extra care of my mom. Disney with Shauna. Should I go to Disney with Shauna for Mother's Day? That's what Joel said. No, he didn't say with Shauna for Mother's Day. Shauna said we should talk about self-care.
Self-care. Boom.
I could talk about self-care. You guys want to see the macarons we made? Check them out. Woo! Can we get a close-up on those while you model up your apron? Hi, pretties. Look at these. They're still hot, but let's see what they look like inside. Oh, yummy. These are gorgeous. I don't know how these turned out gorgeous. I feel like I was freaking high or something while I was making these. Everything seemed bigger. Like I felt like I over measured or something. Anyways, it is 420. Happy 420. These are cute. Anyways, how about I eat one now? Shauna said I can come down for Mother's Day. They're like melt in your mouth. So good. What's this little thing right now? What did you say? Did you say what I think you said? Okay. Next week on Macaron Therapy, we're going to talk about self-care. I actually have a lot to say about self-care. That's a really good topic. What are these ones for? They're for my YouTube viewers. They're fun, huh? All right. Yeah, we don't ask those questions. You guys, thank you so much for joining me this week on Macaron Therapy. My door is constantly open, is always there for DMs or messages or whatever. Anytime you want to talk about, if there's a heavy subject matter or something that you're going through that you think I could relate to, or maybe offer some advice or a listening ear, I love doing that. I actually find that when I share my story myself, I find a lot of healing, and so I'm happy to do that. But also when others find me and they share their story with me, it gives me healing into the work that I've done, and now I'm able to help. So it's kind of like one big growing ball of healing all the time that, you know, if you happen to see it on the way by, you better jump on it, because to be a part of it is really inspiring and magical and beautiful. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.